Yay, how are you doing? How to avoid the big mistake of 100% drugs used for high blood pressure. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 reasons why this is a very big mistake if you currently rely on only drugs 100% of the time. And I'm going to tell you the only time that is applicable when it's not a mistake. And then we're going to look at what you should be doing instead. I'm going to share with you 3 different things that you can and you should be doing instead if you want to enjoy better BP control and to feel better about yourself and how you're managing your BP no matter how long you've had it for. All right, are you excited about this? I'm really excited to be sharing this resource with you. And this is kind of a part of a series that we've been doing. We've been looking at the biggest mistakes around blood pressure control. And so, but I feel this is very big and we should actually dedicate a little bit more time looking more into this. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to share with you one of the fastest and most reliable way of actually getting started controlling your blood pressure better. All right, so let's get started. Welcome back to my channel. If we are just meeting or if this is your first time on my channel, don't forget to like this video, share it, and also subscribe so that you get notifications whenever we go live. All right, so or whenever we post any new video on this channel. So my name is Chigama Indichuku. I'm a pharmacist and a health transformation coach, and I work with you to lower your blood pressure naturally so you don't have to rely on just drugs all for the rest of your life or to endure the adverse effects that come from use of drugs all the time. Yeah, so why are we talking about high blood pressure? Maybe you've been following me for a while and you already know that high blood pressure is one of the biggest there is a reason high blood pressure is one of the most killer, or the most diseases that actually leads to greatest death worldwide. And it's not just a Nigerian thing, it's all over the world. And one of the reasons is either because it's uncontrolled, when you check your BP, and even though you're trying your best, but somehow it just looks like it's not enough. So that could be a reason. Another reason is maybe you're not paying attention. So we've looked at about 2 of them on a Facebook. We've looked at some of the mistakes. We've looked at maybe you're denying it and so you don't want to acknowledge it at all, so you're doing nothing about it. Or maybe you are actually ignoring it as well, and so you just blank it out, right? Those are some of the mistakes. Beneath this video, there is also the link for you to watch the full webinar we did last month, and we talked about 7 of those biggest mistakes. But let's look at 100% relying on drugs and why it's a big mistake. No one is telling you this. No one is sharing this with you. But I believe that when you understand what we're going to be sharing here, you will quickly realize what you can and you should be doing differently for the best results possible. So the only time that you can rely 100% on drugs is when there is what we call a hypertensive emergency. Okay, so this particular what we're sharing here doesn't apply to all the time. There is only one time that it won't apply if you are having a hypertensive emergency. What that simply means is if your BP is so high, maybe you're getting numbers like 170, 180, or sometimes you can see like 200 over 120 millimeters of mercury. That is an emergency. And trust me, what you want to be doing at that point, what your doctors will definitely be doing for you, is using everything possible, every drug they know, trying to gradually bring it down. Of course, we don't crash it automatically, but gradually they'll place you on drugs, probably also place you on bed rest. And it's happened to people before, and that is definitely what you want to be doing. But if that's not the case, if it's simply a case of you already know there is a high BP issue and you know it's something that, okay, even though you're on your drugs, it's slightly elevated, or it's always elevated regardless, then you want to now not rely 100% on drugs only. It's a big mistake, and I'm going to share with you why it is a big mistake. 5 reasons. Okay, So, reason number one is when you rely on only drugs 100% of the time, you actually become helpless. Okay, so you find out that you can't. Some people tell us that they don't feel normal, they don't feel okay when they are not on their drugs. So anytime they skip their drugs, they start to have a headache. It's like something is wrong somewhere because you skipped your drugs. So you find out that you are helpless without the drugs, and that of course is not good, and you want to fix that, right? So, but you're not able to fix it if it's only the drugs, and that's why it's a problem. So you find it's like a bondage. You're stuck with the drugs. Okay. So number two reason for not doing 100% drugs is you have to actually now endure the adverse effects that come from taking the drugs all the time. And let me also explain that 100% drugs means that the only thing you do is you only take your drugs to control your blood pressure. So the only thing you know is you have three drugs, three medications you're on, and then those are the only things that you do. You're not doing anything, you're not watching your diet, you're not doing anything else. It's just the drugs. Okay. Now what happens is you're gonna have to live with the adverse effects. So people tell us the drugs give them, maybe it makes you have palpitations, or maybe you've noticed it's affecting your libido, or maybe you noticed that it actually makes you feel weak. Well, you can't do anything because without the drugs, you feel worse. So it's like between the devil and the deep blue sea. Do you see why it's a big mistake? It's a failing formula, right? Stay with me. Number three is now you have to live with the long-term effect of the drugs. So if you have to always be on the drugs, there is also the long-term effect where, you know, um, of course, the doctors say there is nothing you can't get away from it. So it's something that you have to live with for what 20 years, 30 years, however long the Lord God gives you on here on earth. And it's scary to even think about. I met a man once and he was worried because he had been on his BP drugs and also drugs for sugar control for 20 years. And I could see the pain in his eyes and the desperation he felt. In fact, he had decided to contact one baba somewhere, because he had been taking that drug every single day for 20 years. And that's a long time. But what about the long-term effects, right? What about the long-term effects on the organs of detoxification, like your liver, your kidneys? What about those organs that have to always break it down whenever you take them, right? So that's one thing that no one is talking about. But if you're watching this, you're probably also thinking, yes, you know. So we're going to look at how you can actually avoid this biggest mistake and start to rely less on drugs, yet to control your BP better. But let's go straight to number four. All right. So number four is the cost. So some people, it's maybe for you the price of the drugs is not so much. So you feel like, okay, it's not so much. It's not a huge amount to put away every month. But for some people, it's more. And some people it's about 10,000, 15,000 naira, depending on your currency. So it could be a lot, especially when it starts to build up every month. You have to do that. So it's like, I mean, you have an annual budget just for drugs. So even if there is COVID-19, even if there is no job, that amount must be spent every month. So the cost actually adds up. That's another big problem of 100% relying on drugs, right? And then there is also the part of number five, which is you keep needing more. Okay, so if you're doing drugs 100%, there is a tendency that after about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you may find out that the drug is not even controlling the BP enough and as well as you would need. And when you go back to your doctor, you will say, okay, let's make this 10 milligrams instead of 5, or let's add this particular drug so you can actually get better numbers. Or okay, oh, your cholesterol is also going high, let's add this one as well. So you find that overall you're probably doing 5 drugs, 6 drugs. I've met a man, he's doing 8 every day, and that's painful, right? So those are five of the biggest or five of the reasons why I personally believe that it's a failing formula if you're just doing 100% drugs. Now let me share with you what Dr. Mike Laughlin of Cleveland Clinic says. He says that, and he's a medical doctor, right? But he says that ideally high BP control should be 30% drugs, and 70% of lifestyle. And that's what no one is telling you. Maybe they tell you, oh, yeah, don't, do some lifestyle changes. But what exactly are these lifestyle changes? So instead, what you should be doing is, number one, how to actually stop relying on drugs 100%. Number one, you want to make up your mind to break this 100% reliance. Listen, if you don't make up your mind to do that, it's never going to just happen on its own. That's hashtag truth, hashtag fact, right? So when you make up your mind, all right, so I'm going to do something about it. I learned this on the Whole and Wellness Show, episode 10, with Chibwama Milichko. This is what I learned. So I'm ready to actually break this 100% reliance. Now, you want to determine what exactly you're going to be doing instead. All right. So if you're joining us, make sure that you subscribe, hit the subscribe button so you always get notified when we drop our videos here, right? So the number two thing is, you now want to determine what exactly you're going to be working on, right? So because when we say lifestyle modifications, it's wide, it's a spectrum, it's so wide. So what you want to be working on are the triggers. What are those things that are actually causing your BP to go up? You need to identify them, and then when you are able to eliminate them, you'd be surprised at how much your BP. The three, you want to find out the triggers. I'm going to leave you a checklist that you can use beneath this video, a checklist that we also use for our clients. Like if you're joining the BMAP, the Blood Pressure Meds Free Accelerator program, we would have your triggers that you're going to be working on during the program. So that's something you can do for yourself too. We'll give you the checklist, go to it. So you could find that it could be your weight, maybe you're overweight, maybe your BMI tells that maybe you're obese. Then you want to work on that, because when you work on that, you need less drugs to push down your blood pressure, right? So when you go through the triggers checklist, you could find that maybe it's hormonal birth control that you're using. Maybe it's your contraceptive that maybe you've used it for so long and it's also contributing, right? Maybe you could find that you're doing a high salt diet, for instance. You want to fix that. You want to now start to cut down salt. Do you see how just by doing those little things and taking them off one by one, you'll be surprised at how this helps you to reduce your reliance on drugs. Even if you don't scrap all your drugs completely, what if you now need, instead of three drugs, now you find that you only need one? What would it be worth to you? And I believe that on the long run, it's a huge relief for your organs, huge relief for your pockets. Yes or no? So that's what you want to do. Now, the number three thing I would say, after you've gone through the triggers and you decide, okay, these are the things that I could work on. These are the lifestyle changes I want to make. Maybe you don't do enough exercise. You want to start doing exercise. Do you see how just by identifying your triggers, you now know what you can start to do immediately, right? So we have other videos that we've talked about. I'll probably link them also in this video where we talk about maybe foods to avoid with high blood pressure. They are all down here. I'll link them in this video. They're here on my channel as well, right? So the number three thing is actually start with your food. Start with your food immediately, right? So for most people, no matter the triggers, no matter even if it's your parents that had, you have close family relations that have high blood pressure, you would find that when you make strategic changes and modifications to your diet, automatically you're going to be able to scrap off a big number from your blood pressure reading, right? And it works like magic all the time, and it's really heartwarming to find that just by doing that simple change, you can automatically push down your numbers. So start with your food, and food is universal. No matter your race, no matter your color, no matter where you live, even after seeing this video, you're probably going to eat something. If you don't eat today, you're going to eat tomorrow. So how about you use that thing that is going to go into your mouth regardless to try to fix your blood pressure? And so that is what you want to do. So start with your food. Look at your diets. What could you cut off? What could you add? We recommend the SAM strategy. It's like the foolproof strategy, which is subtract, add, modify. Okay. So it means you're going to subtract everything in your diet that is causing your BP to go up. You're going to add foods and That is not just foods, right? So food, snacks, spices, whatever. We did the video of whole and wellness show spices, natural spices that you can use, all that. So it's a lot, right? So the easier way that so you but you want to do that for your food, you'll be amazed. It works like magic. So does this sound like something you're ready to do? I hope it does, so that you don't have to rely on 100% just drugs, drugs, and more drugs. So I promised you at the end of this broadcast, how exactly can you get to do this more, more easily. So we have something that we've done. It's a done for you system. It's called the BP Foodie Bundle. So what that does is it's your whole diet. It kind of just makes it easy for you to know, I'm gonna eat this today, I'm gonna eat this in the afternoon, I'm gonna eat this at night. So it's a foodie. It comes with a meal plan that you can start to apply immediately. It comes with, short lessons and action steps each day to actually get you started right. It comes with a whole lot, how to track your BP, how to measure, how to know when you're on track. It also even comes with the BP tracker, comes with, your foodie journal, and a whole lot. I'm also gonna leave you the link beneath this video for you to grab that if that's if you're having issues getting started right. It will actually make it a lot easier for you to control your BP better, so that you don't have to do 100% drugs all the time, and without drugs you're not yourself. Is this valuable to you? Let me see your comments. I know this is live, so I'm going to try to pull up your comments. If you're seeing this, let us know that you're seeing this, and does this actually help you? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to subscribe to this channel, and so that you always get more notifications on this. I'm going to see you next Whole on Wellness show, same time on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you grab your BP Foodie Bundle, and let's get you started relying less on drugs, and so you can enjoy your best life in super health. All right, bye. See you.